Can I give a quick shout out real quick?
Please.
Let's go Yankees. Chase for 28.
True. Not that odd. That's like room temp take, but that's all right.
Where's Shohei gonna go?
Obviously, I'm no GM or no Major League Baseball owner, but if I were,
As always, go M's.
I can pronounce it however I want until he tells me personally when he comes and joins the pod as a friend of the pod.
what up, everybody? It's your boys. We're back. It's what is this? The Broken Bat Podcast. You're damn straight it is. It's your boys here to talk some baseball, and we're hyped. We're hyped every week, and we apologize. Usually this episode drops on Monday. We're recording on Monday, so it's not going to drop until Tuesday. But I'm going to plead for your forgiveness in this moment right now. All right, and we're done with that. We're just going to keep it rolling, and we're going to hope you forgive us. But, Peter, you know the deal. They know the deal. They know what's coming next. Let them know.
Absolutely. We are on Instagram and Twitter. The Broken Bat Pod with no spaces. Love to fire off some takes. Shout out our boy Wilson Contreras.
Yes, sir.
Love that man. Friend of the pod for real. Love that. Anyone interact, comment back. We love that. We also have an email, thebrokenbatpodcast@gmail.com. You can reach out. We are also on YouTube at the Broken Bat Podcast, where you can go see all of our beautiful smiling faces. You can see mine and Casey's reaction to J-Rob's intro just barely. It was very similar, so, see how we feel about what the other people are doing. Make sure to go ahead and give us a follow, whatever platform you listen to us on. Helps a lot. It's really cool to see, so we appreciate that. Thank you in advance. And Casey, let them know what we're talking about.
We should do a little bit of recap of this action-packed weekend. We're going to talk about some of our favorite plays. Definitely need to talk about our boy Wilson Contreras, who delivered and gave us a quick shout-out. Showed some love to the Broken Bat Podcast. We also need to give a shout-out to all our mothers out there for Mother's Day.
True.
We'll be able to do this without all of our lovely mothers.
Literally wouldn't be here without them.
Exactly. So they raised us into baseball fans. Love that. They do a lot for us. So just, you haven't yet, tell your mom you love her. We all love our moms. Well, I can't say that, but,
Well,
I love my mom.
I think we all love our mom. I think that's fair to say.
All three of us, yeah.
Yes.
So we on this podcast.
We can't
love our
speak for the
mothers.
world necessarily, but I think for the three of us, we can say we love our moms. So, and it's better late than never. If you haven't told her yet, you can still tell her now. And you should probably tell her you love her more than once a year as well. Just, if you're looking for tips on, like, mom relationships, tell her you love her more than once a year. Yeah, that's my tip for the day. But anyways, continue.
And not just her birthday either. Not her birthday. And
more
birthday.
than
a little more.
More than
Try to average
special
at
occasions.
least one per month.
Yeah, I go for
One per
once
month
a week, but I don't know if that's overachieving. I don't know.
We also have not really breaking news, but a new City Connect jersey has dropped. The Cincinnati Reds have got their City Connects before the St. Louis Cardinals have, and the New York Yankees. Couldn't be me. I got mine last round. I want to get your guys' thoughts on those. What do you guys think of those? I think they're pretty sick.
I will say I give them a lot higher rating than the ones that were dropped right before them.
Yeah, if we're going to compare...
I was a big fan of Cincy's one, actually.
Yeah, I actually really like Cincinnati's. Even, like, just on their hat or on their helmet or whatever, just the C or whatever, I like that. But comparing, to Cincinnati's and the Mariners, it's close. Don't worry, it's close. Not really.
It is not close.
Yeah, not really. Cincinnati's is a lot better, honestly. I see that hoodie, though. I don't mind that hoodie, but, like, when you put it together, like, when you put the whole jersey together, it ain't it. Like, to be honest, but
yeah, it's not even bad. The more I've seen Seattle's, I don't think it's like the colors. I don't know what it is. I don't mind the color, but just the way it works together, it doesn't work.
No.
And every time I see him, maybe it's just because Casey went wild and hyped him up out of nowhere.
Yeah,
makes me like him less every time I see him. But I definitely like Cincy's a lot better. So they're trending in the right direction, which is good news for me and J-Rob, who don't have ours.
Okay.
So.
And that's where I was going to go. What my question was, Peter, how should we feel as, and when I say we, I mean like our organizations, not that obviously we own any of them, but as the Yankees and the Cardinals, two of And this is an opinion, but two teams at least in the top 5 of most like historic franchises in the game of baseball. Like I think both of our teams are minimum top 5, if not like top 3, or even arguably 1 or 2 in like all of baseball. And neither of our teams have a city connect jersey yet. How should we feel disrespected, or like is it a save the best for the last type of deal? I'm honestly confused because I'm upset. This is year 3 of City Connect jerseys, and neither of us are getting them this year still.
I think it's a little bit. We talked about this on previous podcasts. I think it's really hard when there's an iconic look for a team and a brand. Too. I mean, I know Boston has theirs already, and some other teams like storied organization and franchises, even if they're shit like Boston, already have them. So I think you have to save some of the big ones for the end at least as well. It's kind of like it gets old news after a while when you're on like the 28th, 27th team, stuff like that.
You can't go from the best teams to the worst. Because then if you have
you can't just start off
in the Royals.
Yeah, exactly. Like you got to have something to bring back the excitement and the hype around them. So you got to save some of the big name organizations for the end. And I also do think it's harder. Like, I mean, you think of the Yankees and you think of the pinstripes. Like,
yeah, instantly.
It's kind of like, well, what are we gonna do that's gonna compete with just the classic pinstripe? That's kind of what my thinking.
What if they just doubled the width of the pinstripes?
I mean, it still look fire.
I don't know, yeah.
I don't. It'd be pretty exciting.
It changed it so it was like the blue and then the white were the pinstripes. I don't know. You can get crazy with it, honestly. Even though I don't know.
Tell you what, you might have to pitch some ideas, send some emails.
Yeah, well,
I got a new
anybody.
I got a new ranking of City Connect jerseys. You ready for this?
Sure.
A new, like all of them? New top 5? New.
Or I'm gonna do the top 3. Okay, so as you guys know, my old list was the D-backs, Angels, Mariners. It's now the Mariners, the D-backs, and the Reds.
That was
honest, I'm proud of you.
Was that 3-1?
No, that was 1-3.
I'm just proud because I thought you were going to go, it's the Mariners, and the Mariners. So I'm honest. It's better than I thought it would be.
My personal rating for these has gone up to 10 out of 10. Perfect. No one could do better.
I can't. There's no. I mean, I'm sure you could find the facts on this, but I don't think anyone's going to take the time to do it. But I would argue to say that the Mariners City Connect jerseys are one of the most hated City Connect jerseys out of everyone that has dropped so far.
I honestly haven't seen one come up besides Casey, so with zero research or effort to look into that, I think you are correct.
Yeah.
You guys want to know something?
I saw a lot of people hyping up the Reds. I'll be honest. I saw a lot of people hyping up the Reds.
Yeah. Because they're fire.
You guys want to know something?
Sure.
I would love to.
I feel like you always ask us that, and then it's like we have a choice. Like you're
what
us
if you said no?
Just go for it. Yeah.
You guys are both douchebags, and you're making me feel really bad myself. So I'm gonna hurry and change because now you feel really bad
don't
about.
change.
No,
like you said, I like the hoodie.
Yeah.
No, you guys made me feel really bad. My mind's already made up. It's already made up. I'm gonna go.
Casey, you can change. Listen to me for a second. You can change. Listen to me for a second before you do that. I think this Mariners City Connect jersey, because some of the jerseys have come out and have been super fire. Like if you compare even the Reds to the Mariners, I'm gonna take the Reds over the Mariners. But you're just comparing.
It's just because the Mariners. No, you would literally take any. No, don't even lie to me. Now you're trying to gaslight me.
No, because like San Diego's, I think their idea is kind of cool, but I don't like San Diego's because I feel like that's more Miami. Like I've never been to San Diego, so I don't know, but like Miami is well known. Like look at the Miami Heat uniforms, like their City Connect jerseys. They're like the vibrant colors. Miami's known for the vibrant colors. And then San Diego comes out with their City Connect jersey, and it's like vibrant colors. Not that one city can only have vibrant colors, but to me personally, I think when there's jerseys or people do things like that, I think Miami. So that the Padres did that, I'm like, that doesn't match to the Padres to me. I also don't love. Honestly, I think it's a cool idea with the cherry blossom like tree or whatever for the
And
Nationals.
those are probably my favorite ones.
I think it's cool, but I don't necessarily love those. Like, again, cool idea, and I think it's a great like connection, like a great City Connect jersey. But I would probably take the Mariners over that one. I'm not. Where we disagree is your rating. I don't think it's a 0. I think it's probably like a 6.5 to 7. But you just think it's a 9, and so there's a gap. That's the difference.
I said 10.
Well, I'm going
me and
with your
J-Rob,
original
we
rating.
stayed more. We also, if we go back to the original rating, me and J-Rob stayed pretty steady with our original rating.
Yeah.
You're like, but like I really don't mind that hoodie. But also,
Yeah.
I would encourage if you want to change, just take it off. I mean, we'll do whatever we can to get viewers. So if you want to,
seriously.
we can target a new audience. If you just
we may
start recording topless. Hey,
this episode will probably still say
we'll make a poll.
Yeah. The rating for the episode will stay explicit, but not for language this time, but for Casey taking his shirt off, and I don't know if that's considered nudity.
Those YouTube viewers,
seduction.
YouTube viewers are about to get a treat. Absolutely. Also, I don't. You can't say anything about hating. Literally, the Mariners have like 4 of my top 20, 25 players of all time. Like I absolutely love Griffey. Who doesn't love the kid? Ichiro, baller. Ichiro's absolutely one of my favorite players ever. A-Rod started with him. I love A-Rod. Shout out steroids. And freaking Randy Johnson. Like, I love the Mariners are honestly probably like my second or third favorite team. So it has nothing to do with not liking the Mariners or trying to shit on them. I just
you guys are
super.
No, Casey, let me ask you another question.
Don't patronize me.
I'm gonna ask you another question. What team do I root for? You know the question. A straightforward question.
You set yourself up for that one. You set yourself
up. That team. That I'm trying to give him credit and show some love.
Am I getting closer?
No. I mean, you're in the right division. Actually, you know the answer. I wouldn't even make
farther away too. You should have started with Pittsburgh to Chicago.
Yeah, if we're going geographically, you're getting farther away. In every way, you're getting farther. But
okay, wait, I got it.
No. We're
the Cardinals.
Oh, wow. Yes, the Cardinals.
You're a Brewers fan now?
No, I thought you were going all over.
We have breaking news. Casey, play the sound. Breaking news.
You guys heard it here first. J-Rob is officially a Brewers fan.
No.
J-Rob, welcome to the Brew Crew.
You know what? Actually, I'm glad we went here. So I'm going to talk about this 30-second clip, and then we'll go to the next one. Literally, they shouldn't be the Milwaukee Brewers. I was thinking about the name. I think what I settled on, they should be the Milwaukee Sewers, because they're full of shit, because we shit all over them today. 18-1. That's what we did. Andrew Kisner hit a grand slam in the, 8th inning or whatever. I mean, it was off a position player, but that's what it is. Milwaukee's trash. We're coming for that first place spot in the NL Central.
I'm still changing. Don't let that fool you.
That's besides the point. No, wait. This is what you got to listen to. The Cardinals are the team that I root for. You know that. He's gone. I don't know if he can still hear me, but I'm going to continue to talk. The LOL. Now it's in my head. The Cardinals are the team that I root for, but Casey, if you can hear me, what you always ask me to say something that you say at the end of the podcast, and I don't say it very often, but I say it sometimes, and I don't say that for any other team. So if there's any other team, yeah, go M's. If there's any other team I'm giving any love to,
we have nothing.
Yeah, if I'm root for any other team outside of the Cardinals, it's the Mariners for Casey, because
I know you won't give me a go Yanks. I know you want to give me a go Yanks real quick on the phone.
We'll get there.
Nobody slanders the M's, Casey. That's all in your head.
Yeah, that's the point.
We're out here. We're supporting your home run leader, Teoscar.
Yeah.
We got support. We got love for the M's.
And I don't know if Pete has beef necessarily with the Cardinals, and I don't have real beef with the Yankees, but there's just a natural, resentment, I guess, I have against the Yankees because they're the only team that has more World Series championships in it. So,
a lot more.
Yeah, okay. All right. Let's just stick with more.
I read some status, and I can't remember exactly what it was, but the Yankees, if you switched the results of every World Series,
They'd be
The
like
Yankees
second or
would
third.
have the second most
Yeah.
because they've lost, I think, 13 times. I think the Dodgers lost 16.
Yeah. That's
So,
insane to me,
and
bro.
yeah, which is insane. The Dodgers have been there that much. But yeah, the Yankees literally have been to, I think that makes 40 World Series that they've been to, which there's probably been like 100 and something, like literally every 3 years, the Yankees are averaging making the World Series.
Yeah, it's insane. Casey, could you hear us while you were changing?
100%, yeah.
Okay. So, but do you agree with that? You say, not always, not a lot, but I give it to you sometimes. I'll give you a go-ins here and there, and I'll do that for any other team.
You know what? You do it for any other team?
No, I say I don't do it for any other team, but I do it for the ends. You weren't going to get me there.
Yeah.
I'm not setting myself up again.
We're not giving you a go-in.
Yeah.
I'm actually wearing my Teoscar Hernandez jersey.
No, turn around. Let me
Is
see
that
it.
really?
I don't
I
believe
will
you.
lose my
I don't believe
mind.
you. I do not
That is
believe you. Like
I'll be
0%.
so hyped.
Yeah, no.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Hey, J-Rod's a baller. I like J-Rod. I respect him. He's turning around.
Yeah.
What is it? The 6 put him in there, third, 3 hole, whatever it is. It's working.
The 3 hole, yeah. More than Teoscar.
We'll see. We don't.
There's no need for that.
Yeah, we don't need to.
We're coming together. We're being supportive right now. Shout out to Oscar.
Speaking of friends of the pod, I don't know if anyone, we kind of mentioned it earlier, but our good friend Wilson Contreras actually liked our liked J-Rob's his love letter, if you will, to support our good friend Wilson. Yeah. And Wilson took exception to that, and he reached out and he said, "Love you all," with a fire emoji, and he liked our post. You know, it was very wholesome, a very wholesome moment, a very full circle moment for J-Rob. J-Rob could die if J-Rob's life were to end after that comment and like on our Instagram. He could die happy. He would have been dead with a smile on his face, knowing Wilson Contreras, the 2016 World Series champion, Chicago Cub member, Cubs legend Wilson Contreras. Now St. Louis Cardinal.
Yeah, and he's also
liked our.
And just to kind of point out to that, he also said that the Cardinals were a better organization. That is on record in an interview. So, what's that say about the Cubs? Boo. That you could boo them for that one. But just to expand a little bit on that. Thank you. I clipped, and from one of our episodes, I was going off on how everyone's hating on Wilson Contreras, and I was like, this ain't on Wilson, showing him some love, made a reel in like a short or whatever, like depending on where you post it, but he liked it, tagged him on the reel on Instagram, tagged him in it, he liked it, and then commented on the reel or whatever, and I almost cried, honestly. It was tears of joy. It was just mind-blowing. So, appreciate that. Wilson Contreras, if you're listening now, I just want to thank you for even, honestly, if you just liked the reel, I would almost cried still. But the comment just took it over the top, and you will forever be cemented on my Mount Rushmore of best Cardinals ever. Well, okay, maybe a little more to do to get there, but you know what? You make a strong argument. You make a strong argument.
You're on my Mount Rushmore of best Cardinals ever, because that was incredible. Probably the coolest thing that's happened with this podcast so far.
100%, hands down.
Top Mount Rushmore. I have a lot of respect for Will, so I don't know if I can do that, but you're one of my top 2 Cardinals of all time, all right? So shout out, Wilson. We appreciate you. Thanks for showing us some love. Keep it up. Hopefully, your season continues to get better and better. You can bring a championship. 12 and not 23, because this is the Yankees chase for 28, but 12 and sometime while you're there.
Well, here's the thing, and it's not chase for 12. It's 12 and 13 or 12 and 23 or
that's why I said 12 and not 23.
Journey to 12 or something like that. I don't know. We're still working on that part, but if we had to make a Mount Rushmore of like best friends of the pod, he is literally number 1. He might honestly be on there twice for that. One for the one for the comment.
Definitely Teoscar Hernandez.
Then you have Teoscar Hernandez, and then probably
Shohei.
Volpe or Shohei. Yeah, see, like I mean,
Shohei's on there.
yeah,
Shohei, Teoscar, Wilson. Fourth is debatable. Maybe Volpe. We brought him up a lot.
yeah,
Jordan Walker.
Volpe.
We were all voting for
yeah.
Rookie of the Year. Let us down a little bit.
True,
But
he's
definitely top 3 friends of the pod are.
yeah, Shohei Ohtani, Teoscar Hernandez, and number 1 Wilson Contreras. Like, there's no way we can't put Wilson Contreras number 1 after he literally liked and commented on one of our posts. That's just, I mean, we've given a lot of love to all these players, but then he just showed a little bit back, so that's like real friendship right there. He probably, I was hoping, maybe he'll follow me. He must have missed that part, hit the wrong button, but
No, you're asking for too much.
I know.
Calm down.
I'm
Calm
hoping.
down.
I'm not
Asking
asking.
for a
I'm just
lot right
hoping.
there.
Don't take it the wrong way. But no, the new. They're not power rankings, but like top 100 prospects in MLB or whatever. The new list just came out. I think today or yesterday. I think it's today. And Jordan Walker's number 1 on there. But that also, I'm pretty sure, is probably with like all the rookies that have started in the majors and have stayed in the majors, and so they're not on that list anymore. But Jordan Walker is currently the number 1 prospect in all of Major League Baseball. So
Is it? I thought Holiday was. Is he not?
He's
What's
3.
Holiday ranked?
Jackson
Okay.
Holiday, yeah, he was 3. So I'll try to find it again, but we'll see. I don't know. Anyways, there was. I don't know. That was a lot. I felt like that was beautiful. I felt like we gave a nice. I don't know if you'd call it tribute or shout out, mention. I don't know, to Wilson Contreras, City Connectors, Cincinnati. I don't know. A lot happened this weekend for us. It was kind of honestly an eventful weekend for the pod and just that whole thing, and then just for baseball as well. Speaking of this last weekend, is there any series that stood out to you guys that kind of surprised
only
you or
one
you
series.
liked? Okay. And
The Mariners took 2 of 3 in Detroit against the Motor City Kitties. Julio got back on track. Shout out J-Rod. Not friend of the pod. Hopefully friend of the pod, but not yet.
He's a friend of the pod. Everyone's a friend of the pod. Except Aaron Hicks.
No, Aaron Hicks is my best friend.
what's his middle name?
Um,
Yeah, exactly. We're moving on.
Aaron, I guarantee you it starts with a K. I guarantee you it starts with a K, whatever it is.
Peter, was there any series or any game or anything that stood out to you this weekend?
We went into the weekend talking about the AL East, and so those series obviously stood out to me. The Blue Jays going and sweeping Atlanta.
Yeah,
Big statement from the Blue Jays.
I know.
Like Atlanta's the second best team in the league right now, record-wise. Had been looking really good, and go and just get stomped on by the Blue Jays. I think goes a lot to show. We've been talking about the AL East is looking great. That was a big statement for the AL East. Obviously, my Yankees splitting with the Rays, which is weird to be that excited about a series split. But I think the big thing that really stood out for me is normally offensively they shut us down. Like we cannot score on the Rays. That's been the history for the past forever. Like we get 3 runs on the Rays, I'm excited. Yeah. So that we went out and we produced and we're not even fully healthy yet. And our pitchers are. Yeah, exactly. I think that's very promising. We played 7 games with them over the last 10 days now. 3 wins, 4 losses. So that's huge for me.
The best team in the league.
Versus by far the best team in the league. They still have 5 more wins than anybody else in the league. And they've just looked dominant. And so that we're already doing that without a fully healthy lineup. And our pitching isn't healthy yet, which I think is a big thing. Because our pitching is where we're missing the most pieces right now. So hypothetically, if we get healthy, that potential matchup down the line doesn't worry as much as it would previously. So those were the 2 big series for me.
Yeah, I think here's a question, and I don't take this too far. Like, I'm not trying to say, well, I'll say it and then kind of explain. Is Tampa Bay falling off? And don't think of they just went off a cliff and they're just failing. If you want to talk about Pittsburgh, I think they've maybe fallen off a cliff. But just with the Rays, I mean, maybe not falling off, but went over a speed bump type thing. Because I still expect them to be good the rest of the year, and they still have a 738 winning percentage, which puts them on pace for 120 wins this year. But that's probably like the lowest winning percentage outside of like maybe the first. Well, no, I was gonna say outside the first week or two, but they won the first 12 games, so no. So this is probably their lowest winning percentage of the season. But I don't know. They're also 5-5 in their last 10. So obviously you're gonna go through rough patches, but they've definitely, at least in the win-loss column, have slowed down a little bit.
They did cool off a little bit, but I mean, there's still 5 more wins than literally everybody else in baseball. So, I mean, they still have a big cushion to work with. They have they just kicked so much ass at the beginning that they are 5-5.
Yeah.
But it's also like not. There's been a lot of like 5-5, 6-4, 4-6 in the last 10. Like usually every week when we look at it, there's like one team that's 8-2.
Yeah.
1 or 2 that are 7-3, and everyone else is pretty much in that middle group. Besides like the A's who suck ass, and until recently the Cardinals who were sucking ass. But it's just, I think there's a lot of mediocrity is what I'm looking for, but like
yeah. No, I was gonna say the same thing. Like I feel like baseball is very average so far this year. Like, and we even talked about it. We've talked it multiple times when we've gone through our power rankings episodes of the top of the league is really good, and then there's no, like, it just kind of drops off. There doesn't feel like there's a lot, like there's a ton of strong contenders right now in the league. Obviously, again, long season, we're about a fourth of the way through, but like, I mean, I don't know. I just looked. There's only 3 teams, and this is after Monday's games on the May 15th. But there's only 3 teams who are 7-3. There's no one that's 10-0, 9-1, or 8-2 in their last 10 games in all of baseball right now. There's 3 teams that are 7-3. The Cardinals are the only team in the National League. Oh no, I lied. Dodgers are 8-2.
I was gonna say quick fact check. Dodgers are 8-2.
So there's 4 teams 7-3 or better. Dodgers are 8-2. So they're really hot right now, and they've won their last 5 games. Cardinals are 7-3, won their last 4. And then the other 2 are in the American League, and they are the Rangers and the Yankees. Yeah.
The Yankees are 7-3. But yeah, and I think the Rays, to get it back to the Rays, I don't think they're falling. I think they've had a bit, but I think they built cushion by kicking their ass. But they also, like, if you look at their schedule recently, we talked about it at the beginning of the year, where they played nothing but shit teams.
Yeah.
I don't know everyone they played, I don't remember, but I know after they played the shit teams, they played like Pittsburgh, who's fallen off, but they were good at the time.
Yeah.
They played Blue Jays. They played the Yankees 7 times now. Like, they've been playing tough teams now, so I don't think I mean, they're still keeping a huge lead, so I don't think it's necessarily that they've fallen off. The competition got a little bit better, and just matchup-wise doesn't always work out, but I don't think there's anything to worry about if you're a Tampa fan. Yeah. The 2 of you that exist, So I think the Rays are they're by far the scariest team to me right now.
Yeah. Casey, what are your thoughts?
I mean, they've lost 11 baseball games, and they've played, what's the record? 31-11?
Yeah.
That
is
disgusting when you say that
out. No, they're fine. They're fine.
Well, yeah.
They're good. They're good at baseball.
I know they're fine, but I'm just like...
I've said it before, J-Rob, and I'll say it again. The Rays just fuck.
They do. They still have a 120 run differential as well.
Yeah.
Which is still the next best.
I think it's almost it's like borderline hot take that you're like, are the Rays cooling off? Or I mean, the fact that they're still because let's think of it this way: if the Mariners were 31-11, I'd be the biggest like obnoxious fan on Twitter to you guys. I already am an obnoxious Mariners fan.
Well, yeah. Well, but my point. So
imagine me. If my team was 31-11, I would be saying it's World Series or bust.
I don't.
At this point, on
May 15th.
On May 15th, if I'm 31-11, it's like a World Series or bust for me. Like, especially in that division too, when you have almost every team. I mean, maybe the Red Sox are kind of slipping a little bit, but the Blue Jays, Orioles, Yankees, Red Sox, like, you have an absolute bloodbath, and you are comfortable, and like not even comfortable, like you like are just like you're chilling in first place by yourself, like by what was it, 4.5 games, 4 games,
4.5,
if not more. So like, I think they're okay. I don't think there's any point. Any part of me does not think the Rays are falling off. Like they're still my pick to win a division.
Well, that's why I didn't want to get mistaken. And falling off was probably the wrong word because I don't think they're falling off. But that's why I didn't want to say like falling off a cliff because again, comparing to the Pirates, who they have been terrible the last 2 weeks. I don't know, full last 2 weeks, but they've been losing a lot of baseball games recently. But the Rays they haven't kept pace with how they started. Obviously, they started 12-0. So, but even taking the first 3 weeks, they were still whatever. They won 20 games like way faster than anyone else. But just getting there, that pace that they're on, obviously you don't expect them to keep that up because they're on pace to win like 130 to 140 games. But like if they have a weakness, just literally looking at the standings, they're 12-8 on the road, which is still really good. You're 4 games above 500 on the road. But compare that to their home record of 19-3. If they have a weakness, it's for sure like road games. Like even though they're winning more games than not, 8 of their 11 losses were all on the road.
Which is honestly surprising if you ask me, because it's not like they have a great home field advantage.
Well, maybe it's the peace and quiet.
Yeah.
You can't walk into the juice box and expect to win. You walk into that juice box and you know what you're getting yourself into. It's like walking into a hornet's nest or like hell. I don't know. You go in there and you just know all 10 fans are rowdy as hell.
The 10,000 feels
you
like
hear
100,000.
You can hear what all 10 of them yell individually, and maybe it just psychs the other teams out because there's no other crowd to drown it out. So they just are having full conversation with you.
And nine of those 10 fans are completely shit faced, so you know they're getting rowdy.
Yeah. Well, and also those are the passionate fans because if they're going to the games. Like, and no one else is going to the games, they're going, like, because they're real fans. And so, yeah, they got to be talking smack or something. I don't know what it is, and obviously with them playing this well, you're not going to get home field advantage in the playoffs against the Rays. Like, they're going to be, if they aren't the number 1 seed, kind of to your point, Casey, I don't think they're necessarily, or obviously their goal is to win the World Series. That's the goal of every team. But, I don't know, if they're not first place, like if they don't have home field advantage throughout the whole playoffs, that would surprise me. But I don't know. Or go for it, Peter.
I was just agreeing with you, and I have a lot more to add. There is one, I don't know if we're done talking about the Braves, but there is one other series that I think we need to at least mention and bring up. The Dodgers picked that San Diego ass this weekend.
Yeah.
Dodgers are hot right now. 8-2
Yep.
in their last, looking great in a rebuilding year for the Dodgers, which is disgusting. So, I think the Dodgers at least need to be brought up. I don't know.
So here's my question, because I agree with you, Pete. I think the Dodgers are absolutely on fire right now, but the Diamondbacks are 24-18 and 2.5 back. Are we still on the D-backs? I'm still on the D-backs hype train. I think they're quiet. I think they're quiet good because the closest team to them is the Padres at 6.5. So they're comfortably in second place. And if I'm being honest with you, let's see. Yeah, they're the number 1 wild card seed in the NL right now. So, like, I don't know. Like, when we need to give the D-backs some credit, too, because they're hanging.
Yeah,
they're hanging there.
Yeah. I mean, go for it.
Go ahead.
You, Pete. You.
Yeah, so I was going to say, because they did have, I can't remember if it was last week or 2 weeks ago, where they had a terrible 10-day stretch. It's like, oh damn, too bad. There goes the D-backs, right? But they've bounced back for sure. They're battling. It was like you saw the Dodgers running them down. Padres were getting Tatis back. Soto started to produce. You're like, ah, damn, too bad. I was rooting for you, D-backs. Better luck next year, right? I mean, at least you got Corbin Carroll going. But they're battling. They're not going away. They didn't give up as easily as I gave up on them. So, absolute respect. Love to the D-backs. Still haven't forgiven you for 0-1, so go to hell.
And don't blink now, but Rocktober's coming in full force. They're only a half game out of the basement in the NL West. Rocktober, hey, when you see the movie Mile High Miracle, I don't know, man. You're gonna be wishing you didn't make these weird takes. You should have been on the train before everyone else was.
Fine with these takes. Jared, what are your thoughts on Dodgers or D-backs? You can ignore Rock Taylor.
Yeah, no, I trust me, 100% was going to. You know what? I think it's a really interesting series, and then also comparing that to Arizona and their record. If you go back 3 days ago or before like the start of the series, Arizona's on a 4-game win streak. So 3 games ago, they were 21 and 18, and 3 games ago, San Diego was 20 and 19 or something. So like they were, I mean, even though they have that gap now, it's literally because they just got swept by the Dodgers, who I think is clearly the favorite to win that division and is the best team in that division. But what my question was with like talking about with the Rays, and then again talking about with the Dodgers and Padres, I feel like, again, and going back to our point of like, there's a lot of, I feel like, mediocre baseball going on right now. Like and what I mean by that is, there's honestly, I think there's one team right now that is like playing out of their mind, and that's Tampa Bay Rays. Like, they're playing good. Atlanta and the Dodgers, I guess the Dodgers would be the second team if I had to pick a second, but the Dodgers and Atlanta are the closest to the Braves with 26 wins, and then the Rangers are at 25. Baltimore is also at 26, but like, those teams aren't wowing me. Granted, they're playing really good baseball, but
Baltimore's not. Baltimore's wowing me.
Well, they're wowing me in the fact of like they're exceeding my expectations. Like, I did not expect them to be this good, but I don't think they're on. Like, I think Tampa Bay is on its own level, and then you have like Baltimore, the Rangers, the Dodgers, pretty much those 3 like next, and then it's kind of like the rest of the field. Like, I don't think, for me personally. So my question for you guys is, or at least what I'm thinking, we don't necessarily have to go into all this detail if we don't want to, but like the playoffs this year, I feel like we could be seeing teams in the playoffs that we don't normally see, like the Diamondbacks, or we haven't seen in a long time, like the Rangers. They literally, the AL West, I think for most people was a lock that Houston was going to win, and maybe you get a wild card in that division, but that was even questionable. Like, maybe the Mariners. And this is no shade on Casey, because the Mariners are right there with Houston, the Angels, and the Angels as well. But Seattle's in 4th place in that division. Houston's in 2nd. But then, like I said, Angels, between Houston, the Angels, and the Mariners, they're all within a game of each other for 2nd place. But I don't know. I just feel like there's going to be different teams in the playoffs this year than maybe we've seen in a while in some place. Like in the NL East. Look at the National League real quick. Who are the playoff teams? If you look right now, it's literally, Atlanta and the Dodgers are tied for the 2 best records, so they're 1-2.
Milwaukee,
and then Milwaukee,
Arizona,
but then it's
Pittsburgh.
Arizona, Pittsburgh, and then it's a tie between San Diego, Miami, Philadelphia, Mets.
No, it's just Miami and Philly.
No,
the Mets and Padres are half out.
Okay, so, but like, Miami, like, when's the last time they went? The D-backs, when's the last time they went? Like, granted, again, we're 1/4 of the season in, and there's a lot of teams that are close, but it's, I don't know. And I think
to be honest with you, I think I don't know, like, the AL is brutal right now, because I'm looking at on the MLB app, just the playoff picture kind of deal, like the wild card stuff, and the NL only has 5 teams with winning records, and the AL has at least 10. So, like,
literally half of those are from the AL East, by the way, which is
all of them from the AL East. All of the AL East has a winning record, and 4 of the 5 teams in the AL West have winning records. And I think it's the most in baseball. I think everyone else has like 1, maybe 2. Yeah, because like the NL Central has 2. The NL East only has 1 winning record team. The NL West has 2, where the AL East has 5. NL West has 4.
That's crazy. So the whole NL has 5, and the AL East has 5.
Yeah.
Wow.
There's 9 teams between the NL East, or the AL East and AL West, all with winning records. Like, that just shows how competitive, like. Now, granted, the Mariners are floating around 500, and there's a few teams that are floating around, like the Red Sox are floating around 500.
They
There's a
just
few
lost four
teams.
in a row too, so they were
Yeah.
22-16. So like, I think
Exactly.
it's
So like,
hopefully
there's
they don't turn it around ever, and they just go
Continue
22
to
and
lose.
140.
I don't know.
But that is interesting. I like your point too. Kind of like it seems like a lot more teams will be in it and potentially like
in contention
go for
for
it at the
playoff
trade
spot.
deadline, or like it depends. If you get hot for the 2 weeks before the trade deadline, it might be like okay, let's go for it. So I definitely think that's interesting
Yeah. And this is
to
my
consider, and hopefully,
go for it. You can finish, Pete.
I was gonna say, and hopefully we do have. I mean, obviously the Yankees are gonna make it, Rays are gonna make it. Consistent, love to see that, except for the Rays, but it'll be exciting. I hope we get, I hope the Diamondbacks, the Pirates, these teams that aren't there all the time. I hope at least one or two of them makes it because I like that. I think it's exciting. It's cool to see more variety.
I think same thing. Comment on that. One other comment. We can move on. I think seeing the same teams in the World Series, especially, but even in the playoffs, seeing the same team over and over in any sport, in the Stanley Cup, in the Super Bowl, whatever. Like people, especially obviously if it's your team, you like that. But to the 29 other teams or whatever, no one wants to see the same team in there like pretty much every year, or like 5 out of the last 10 years or 7 years, whatever. And so I think the same thing's for the playoffs. Like always pretty much having the same team. Like the Cardinals always, and not always, but like the Cardinals or Brewers pretty much always winning the division in recent history. Yeah, if the Pittsburgh, or if the Pirates, the Cubs, or the Reds came in and won the division or even made a playoff spot, like teams are gonna, or not teams, fans I think like that. So I think that would be interesting. My big question, and this is for the fans, think of this. I'm interested to see how this plays off with like the free agent market and the trade deadline and then the off season because there's so many teams that are kind of at the same level, that's going to take out, I feel like, more teams willing to give up pieces because they're still in the hunt for the playoff, and so there's less places to pull from, and so there's less, like, obviously, like, you're going to have to pay more to get players you want or pieces because they're, like, the demand is so high for what is available. And so that's just for the trade deadline, but then I'm also curious to see in the off season, is it going to make it more valuable and teams are going to be more aggressive to go after players early and like in free agency and all those different things because like you're not going to be able to build your team necessarily or make big changes in the middle of the season because more teams are like in the hunt. Because that's honestly, I feel like, and I could be totally wrong, I feel like this is almost a direct result of like playing every single team. Because that's the one big change Major League Baseball made this year. And it's first year, obviously very small sample size.
Just because there's the pitch clock and all those things, but I get where you're headed.
Well, yeah, I just mean like every team is playing every team. Yeah, the schedule side of it, like obviously there's been different changes to the game, but I don't necessarily think that like sure it has the same effect on every team. Like it doesn't have an advantage to players and teams, whereas like teams will have a better advantage, like we've talked about, like the AL East, that's more of an advantage to them playing every single team and the teams in their division less because it's so competitive. So I think it helps them, whereas like teams in the AL Central who are straight dog water, it hurts them because they can't beat up on teams that are similar to them. They have to play harder teams a lot more. Personal opinion, I don't know. We'll see how that goes. But Peter, I think that is a perfect transition, literally perfect, into Pete's friend of the pod of the week. I feel like that's a little long. We need to shorten that up. But essentially, Pete, who's your friend of the pod for this week?
You guys want me to guess? We got to get this consistent. You guys want to guess, or you just want me to give it to you? No spoiler.
I'm going to say Anthony Volpe.
I'm going to say Nolan Arenado.
Casey, I thought you had it. I thought we were going to, for the first time ever, have someone predict it.
Shohei Ohtani.
It's an Anthony. No. It is an Anthony.
It's Rizzo.
Please don't say
It's Rizzo. Shout out the bobblehead man himself. Absolutely shit all over Rays pitching. Currently, as of before today's game, I don't know, after today's game, but he was leading the Yankees in every single hitting category. He was our average leader, RBI, home runs,
Sheesh.
everything. He's been killing it. Bobblehead night, 2 home runs, hit another home run in the series versus the Rays. Was the AL Player of the Week, which I think this is the first time it's lined up where I picked the same one as actual MLB. But Anthony Rizzo, Riz DeLorean as people were calling him. There's a lot of Star Wars nicknames with the Yankees, which kind of makes sense. The Evil Empire. So we embrace it. We love it. The Riz DeLorean balled out, and I appreciate it.
Boom. Good pick.
I feel like Pete only picks Yankees players.
No, that's not true. He picked Shohei Ohtani as well.
Yeah. I think there's also one other
players
non-Yankee.
and Shohei Ohtani.
It's very Yankees players and
There's
future
no bias.
Yankees players.
There's no bias whatsoever.
No, none at all.
All right, guys. Casey, give me your last words.
Go M's. I just want to make the playoffs before another 20 years.
So, wait, you got to say it to, like, wish it into existence.
Chase for a wild card berth, 2023. Go M's.
All
I
right.
love it. My favorite part of the Rays series this weekend, no Aaron Hicks. Hashtag DFA Aaron Hicks forever and always. Chase for 28. We would love to see it.
Beautiful.
28.
I got to go Journey for 13 because LOL. Journey for 12. We got to get to 12 before we get to 13. Journey for 12. The Cardinals are on their way. You heard it last week in the power rankings that I put Cardinals at number 10 in the power rankings. They laughed at me. Come back next week because the Cardinals are what? They're 7-3 in their last 10. They are marching, bro. You would think they were part of like some army unit. They are marching. Paul Goldschmidt held a players meeting before the Cubs series last week, and they have been on a roll ever since. So watch out. Call them butter. They're on a roll. Go Cardinals. Journey for 13. This is the Broken Bat Podcast. We appreciate you guys listening, and we'll see you next time.